If you're planning to apply for a Schengen visa, then you found the right video. In my 5 years here in Ireland, I've already obtained 5 Schengen visas from 3 different embassies. At this point, I think I already know how it works. Did you know that Schengen visa period validity can vary from days to years? So you better stick until the end of this video to know how you can get the longest possible period for your visa. Hi guys, it's Megan Jen. If you are new here, I'm a Filipino living in Ireland and I'm sharing my life as an expat here in my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm gonna share 5 tips that's going to help you get the longest period possible for your visa. So let's go. First is the embassy selection. If you've been researching and asking your friends for recommendations, then you've probably heard this already. Based on my experience, it is true that some embassies are more generous compared to the others. Like I mentioned earlier, I've already applied to 3 different embassies here, and that's Netherlands, Greece, and Germany. So that means I have 3 first-time experiences, and I'm gonna tell you how long I got from each one of them. From Netherlands, which was my first time ever applying for a Schengen visa, I got 3 months. And then from Greece, which was my 3rd application, but the first time in the embassy, I got 8 days, which was the duration of my trip. And then from Germany, my 4th time, but first time in the embassy, I got 1 year. Looking at this data then, I would recommend going for Netherlands or Germany. But then you might say, well, I'm not going to Germany or Netherlands. Why would I be applying for this embassies? Fair enough, that's true. There's so many countries that you can go to within the Schengen area. And the recommendation is that you apply to the country where you're going to stay the longest. That is your main country of destination. But I'm gonna answer your question in my next tip. Familiarity Works. I applied twice in the Netherlands and twice in Germany. My second application in the Netherlands, I got 1 year. And the second application in Germany, which is my current valid visa, is for 2 years. Now, most of the time, you don't really go to the same place right after a recent trip. And normally, you'll be going to another Schengen area because there's just so much to see. Now, obviously, you can apply to the new embassy if that's what you wish. However, you'll get a better chance of getting a longer period if you apply to the same embassy. Now, you might be asking, how are you going to do that given that you need an itinerary, a flight ticket, and an accommodation booking for the application of the visa? For the flight tickets, you can use reservation or dummy tickets. These are not real tickets, but they have valid booking references, and that is acceptable for your visa application. In fact, if you read the instructions from the embassies, they would even say that they are not liable for any bookings that have been done in relation to the visa application if in case it gets rejected. Now, you will still be paying for these tickets. For example, the one that I usually use charges $15 round trip. If you find actual tickets that are cheaper than the reservation tickets, then obviously go for that one. For the accommodation then, it's so easy because Agoda or Booking.com would have hotels that have free cancellations until like 2 days or a day before your travel date. So what I normally do is I book through the sites, and that's what I use for my application. I've never had problems in my reservations in my past applications. So based on that, I'm going to put the link of the websites in the description box below in case you want to check them. Moving on to the next then is your preparedness for your application. The embassies won't accept your application if you don't have the complete requirements. So make sure that before you go to that appointment, you already have all of the requirements needed. Most important of all is the accuracy of your application form. So make sure to double check all of your answers and that your passport details and names are correct. In these forms, they also ask for your travel history, so it's always handy to have a record of all your travel destinations and the travel dates. Other document requirements would be financial evidence, and that could be your bank statements, your payslip, or your savings account. And then you also need to provide employment evidence, and that could be your certificate of employment. And then this last one that they're very particular of is the travel insurance that covers COVID-19 with no limits. There's a lot of travel insurance companies online, and the best thing is you can get a quotation from their websites, and so you'll know right away which one would be the best for you and which one would be the cheapest as well. You can select either the single trip, which only covers the duration of your trip, or an annual multi-trip coverage, which covers then all of the trips that you will have during that period. Obviously, the single trip is cheaper, but then if you plan to travel multiple times during the year, then you'd probably want to get the multi-trip one. I've never had any problems with my travel insurance before, so I'm going to put the link of what I use in the description box down below. Moving on to the fourth one is the cover letter. This is a letter addressed to the embassy stating your reasons for application. You can also include your travel plans, your travel dates, and so on. So what this does is it adds some personal touch on your application. Now this relates to my final and last tip, which is the inclusion of your future travel plans. If you're hoping for a longer period of visa, then you should give the embassy some reason to give you one. And the best way to do that is to lay down all of your future plans to the embassy. And you can use the cover letter for that. If you already have the tickets and reservations for those future trips, then feel free to add that as well in your cover letter. Before I finish this video, I just want to say that applying all these tips doesn't guarantee longer visa period, especially if it's your first time. Normally it would be 3 months, like hello, I got 8 days in one of mine. But at least with this information, you can avoid a visa with a validity of a few days. And on your second application, you know exactly where to go to get a longer visa period. So that's it, guys. If you find this video useful, please let me know in the comment boxes down below. And also, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video. It really helps me. See you on the next one. Ciao!